A thread by Soul War. Antifa's greatest weakness is what it thinks is its greatest strength: anonymity. For weeks, I've watched these live streamers, almost all of them, the press wing of Antifa, do certain things that mystify their viewers, showing only feet or covering the lens at times. It's a hand right there. There. When their chat during the stream ask them why they do that, they say security. Teebs is one such streamer. When she moves through a certain area where certain activity or special Antifa are gathered, she covers the camera to hide whoever or whatever's there. Other streamers lower the lens so they don't capture or see faces of key Antifa. Antifa is always on watch for unapproved streamers, cameras filming them. Those people are warned off or attacked outright. From Andy No. They use Twitter and other platforms to put bounties on targets. They know that by calling media opponents fascists, it gives their comrades license to seek you out to hurt you. At US Press Tracker needs to denounce this tactic used by Antifa accounts. PDX Shield, Elijah Schaefer, fascist-leaning reporter host with Blaze TV, notified and confirmed that he is broadcasting from the federal courthouse 24 July 2020. Be mindful of getting on his footage. They're putting bounties on conservatives. Isn't that great? And that's just delightful. All right. Many hardcore Antifa teams, yes, they have teams, are trained and equipped for specific tasks. Here, the umbrella holders attempt to prevent the federal team from seeing what those behind them are doing, flinging tinder debris over the fence and using lasers to blind agents. The cumulative effect of having these powerful green lasers shown into the eyes by malevolent brats is beginning to burn the retinas of some agents. The debris is tossed over the security fence so that it can be set on fire later that night. From Andy No. At least 3 federal officers in Portland may not recover their vision after rioters who have shown up in mobs for more than 50 consecutive nights shined powerful lasers in their eyes to blind them. Hardcore Antifa's gear and clothing are chosen to provide them a uniform, camouflage them from being identified specifically after committing crimes. Almost all are masked and or helmeted and decked out in black for that reason. Gas masks also hide features. It's a futile exercise. There are no more anonymous Antifa. I could go there and try and explain this, and they wouldn't believe me. Their nightly theatrics have to play out against the federal response. I already know who's going to win. The feds have innumerable techniques and methods to identify Antifa. After weeks of this, the hardcore Antifa, about 300 Marxist zombie foot soldiers have been identified. They can be swept up at any time. Portland is now being used by President Trump as a distraction, turning a negative into a positive. It's not Trump's fault that Mayor Wheeler and his city council have allowed lawlessness to run rampant. The nightly battles with Antifa are now being used to distract the left for Trump's next bold stroke. Operation Legend is not going to unfold like people think it is. The 1,000+ federal teams deployed by Trump, AG Barr, and other teams, the number of them unknown, deployed by Secretary of Defense Esper, in late May have not been idle. They've been preparing the ground for what's coming. These teams coming to deep blue cities are not there to investigate crimes. So, Trump is sending the feds into our territory to investigate crimes. Ha ha ha. Time for the sabotage. Boys? Dems think these teams are going to take up the slack of the police the Dems have ordered to stand down. Some of these teams are doing that. Yes. Oh my God, look at her face. What's wrong with your face, Nancy? Okay, sorry. Back to Dwayne. But the teams affiliated with Operation Legend aren't there to investigate crimes. They're going to sweep in and sweep up all of the violent repeat offenders, many of whom have been identified and tied to specific federal crimes already. They know who they are and where to find them. People don't realize just how minuscule the number of Antifa is that are actually committing 90% of the destruction and violence in those cities. It's probably 200 to 300 per city, tops. All the rest just mill about, chatting, filming, and giving the agitators cover. It's the exact same thing in Chicago and other cities. A fraction of the population is responsible for all the violence and death. Over the past 20 years, the left has doggedly pursued an end to incarceration for any crime. We're now used to murderers being released in under 5 years. This has fomented a deliberate chaos on our streets, and Democrats have used to their political advantage. The more hurt, the merrier. The more hurt, the louder they call for higher taxes and more cops to police us as their violent stepchildren wreak havoc. It's about control. President Trump is the ultimate spoiler for the system and world that they've built and demanded we live in and accept. A dehumanizing existence that would ultimately turn us into them or destroy us, the agenda all along. Hello, Marxism, their glorious final solution to American liberty. Trump freed up thousands of federal cells, not just to reverse what many Americans saw as an injustice to the Black community, putting Blacks in federal prison for minor, nonviolent drug charges, but to make room for the demonic and incorrigible that the left refuses to deal with. Those I often call the demonic and incorrigible are going away for decades. What would have been a 1 to 2 year stint in state prison is going to be 20 plus years in federal prison. Operation Legend, named after a 4-year-old boy shot dead while sleeping in his own bed, will make history. Those federal teams are going to be taking out the trash as all eyes are focused on Portland, Chicago, and Seattle, as the real teams do this nationwide, simultaneously. Wait, what? Yep, suckers. Federal teams have been arresting agitators and repeat offenders for months already. Now, Trump's going to step it up. Violent repeat offenders are going away. 56 joint terrorism task force offices, hardcore Antifa's going away too when Trump no longer needs them to distract the mainstream media. Am I spilling the beans? No one's going to believe me, since Attorney General Barr hasn't held a presser and taken all the hyperventilating blowhards on both sides by their widow hands and explained it all. So it's not happening. Perfect. Where's the dun dun? I need the dun dun. It's already happening nationwide. Brace yourself, Chicago. Brace yourself, Portland. Brace yourself, Seattle. You have no idea what's coming or what is even happening now. You never had a chance. All we needed was genuine, positive leadership. To support the works of Dwayne Cates, also known as Soul War, go to paypal.me/Brent Cates, and Brent thanks you.